Morning, everybody. How we doing? Happy Tuesday. Sorry, I didn't have the mic on then. Hello. Welcome, Don. Welcome to the private streams, Don. See you at 9 o'clock. New member. Hello. I don't know if you're in here, but you have subscribed because it's told me that, but I don't know if you're here. Morning, Danny. How we doing? Morning, Church. Paul, Danny. Other Danny. Morning, Rodrigo. Morning, Sarah. How are we all doing? Right, market's open. Morning, Travellery Log. It's really hard to say your name. We've broken short on the FTSE this morning. The DAX has broken long, but the pre-market didn't trigger because the pre-market range was too small this morning. It was 210, looking for 232, which is 10% of ADR. So didn't get a trigger on that one this morning. It has broken along, but not really getting anywhere. FTSE, though, has nice clean break short on that one today. Loads of room to the downside as well on the FTSE, although I'll be wary about that high there. So that is your previous day's high here. That little spiky bit there potentially could act as a support, this propulsion gap, basically. What's that? Let me just have a quick look and see what that is from a risk reward basis. 2R. It's 3R. No, 2.5R. For the sake of it may or may not bounce, I'm just going to go there for a 2R short. Hopefully it'll get down there, but we'll see. So yeah, not a lot of volume particularly. It's broken, but it's not really traveling. So we'll see where that goes. Morning, everybody else. We'll change it, your name. You don't have to change your name just because I can't pronounce it very easily. Morning, Neil. Morning, Forex Fire. Morning, Virginia. How are you all doing? So today, we've had news already this morning on the claimant counts for the UK, 27.9 on a forecast of 20.2. So it's gone up, more people claiming benefits, which puts more weight on the economy, which makes it harder to make money, which makes the pound usually weaker. Earnings haven't changed, but we haven't had an awful lot of movement this morning. So quickly had a whiz through the pound pairs. As you can see, that's the news. So basically we just got indecision whipsaw on the news. So not really any direction. It is broken. It is bearish. So the last hour we have had bearish movement or indecision basically. So not really anything you can read too much into that news. It is bearish, but market not really paying much attention to that this morning. We've got the ZEW economic sentiment this morning coming up. That doesn't tend to do a lot. And the main news today is obviously CPI for the Canadian dollar. I am really hoping that CPI bounces in Canada. Come on, CPI, bounce. Same as the US did last week. So last week on the US, we had a lovely big bounce on CPI. So figures came out higher than expected. So I'm hoping that CPI does the same for them. So the forecast for CPI is to stay the same, have no difference whatsoever, month on month, year on year. So I'm hoping that we just get a 0.1, just anything to give that little bit of a boost to the Canadian dollar, because I've got US dollar CAD short and I want the Canadian dollar to rally. So that's coming up at 1:30 this afternoon. That's your major news this afternoon. And CPI quarter on quarter. For the New Zealand dollar, but that's overnight. So that happens 45 minutes after the swaps tonight. So, so yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We've also got CPI coming up tomorrow morning for the pound as well. But that's all of tomorrow's news basically is CPI. That's all we got. So busy afternoon this afternoon potentially. If you're watching on replay and you've got any questions on anything, strategies, whatever, stick them in the comments and I'll respond in the comments. If you're coming into the members streams, 9 o'clock this morning, the members stream is going to be on ADR reversals. So we are going to look at ADR reversals. Can't remember what I called it. That one, ADR reversal strategy testing. Can we find a prop strategy using ADR reversals? So that's what we're doing at 9 o'clock in 54 minutes. So that's today's members stream. Yesterday we covered fundamentals in the members stream. So if you want to join up for that, if you're interested, there's a join button. You can click and you can join. So there you go. Morning, George. Linux, how are we doing? So ADR wise today, not a lot happening really on the ADRs. Oh, yesterday I took a US dollar Swiss, by the way. I've just realized I've moved my charts over. Somebody asked me, and I don't really know if this is it. I don't know why I've done it, to be honest, but the market watch I have over here, yeah. Somebody asked me, he said, why have you taken the market watch off your screen? I can't see you switching charts anymore. Can you put it back? So this morning I just put it back. Now I'm thinking about it. Does it really matter if you see how I change my charts? Do you really need to see that? I don't think you do you? Isn't it better to have more chart on the screen? Anyway, I did that this morning for some reason. US dollar Swiss. So I took a US dollar Swiss yesterday. We had an ADR reversal on US dollar Swiss. So yesterday was an ADR hit to the upside. We did 125 ADR, I think it was, yesterday. Yeah, 80 we did yesterday. ADR is 60. So the reason I liked it was because of this big rejection that we had here. So we had this big, strong push yesterday on US dollar Swiss. Now, there's no reason really for this because obviously the market was shut in the US yesterday and there wasn't a lot of movement in the markets. But we had a really big movement on this US dollar Swiss. And we had a lot of nice rejection up here in this propulsion gap, previous propulsion, look. So it's this area here where it was after the news, basically. We pushed back down. We broke that area, but this is the move really that hit that level and then added into it. We've just tagged into that, basically. So I just liked the look of it yesterday, and I thought I'll take that one, US dollar Swiss short. So we got the reversal alert this morning on it, and we've retested this morning. So if we get a break of today's low of the day, that end pattern will hopefully hold because we've got this weekly high here, which was also last week's high, which we tapped into again on that Friday. So yeah, it's got a very good chance, I think, of if we can break today's low of coming down and at least retesting maybe that level. But if you look at the market structure on it since the news, it's kind of bullish. So I'll be looking for a pullback down potentially into ADR. So I'm using this propulsion gap, which is a break of the previous day's high, as my target to the downside, just as a quick kind of scalp. Yeah, we'll see what happens on that one. So far today, there's no ADRs. ADR dash is playing up again. Got real data problems. It's because basically I think it's because I keep switching accounts on this particular MT4. It throws out the data, so it doesn't quite load all the data back in when I switch back to accounts for some reason. I don't know why. But so as you can see, there's no ADRs today. Nothing to look at there. Nothing's hit its weekly ranges. We're on Tuesday. Nothing's hit there at all. Overnight news, there wasn't a great deal. There's your unemployment change for the UK. Didn't really do anything. Nothing much overnight at all. So nothing's really escalated in the Middle East. Fed's Waller came out last night and said the inflation data was disappointing. We know that it went up instead of down. So yeah, nothing much else overnight really to look at there at all. It's all gone very quiet on the Kim Jong-un front. So over the weekend, he put all of his troops on the southern border of North Korea, and he told them to open fire if they saw anybody. And obviously they haven't because nothing's happened. So I don't know what's happened there, but it looked like Kim Jong-un just fancied a fight because everyone else is having one. So that's gone quiet. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's your overnight news. Nothing particularly exciting to look at there. The RSIs are pretty flat today as well. So US dollar CAD is the only extension which we know about. I did take an aggressive on this yesterday. I didn't want to put a stop loss on this, hard stop loss, because of potential volatility overnight, and just getting taken out. So it's crept a little bit higher than I wanted it to. I will leave one of those on, but take one of them off. If we push any higher, much higher today. In fact, I'm going to put that in place now. Just going to stick it up there. So it's about 0.75%. This thing's just parabolic. So today, obviously, we've got the news. So Canadian dollar CPI this afternoon. If that comes out bullish, we should get a decent rally on the CAD, which will hopefully start a move as we got last week, but it just didn't manage to kickstart the move. So this US dollar's just not stopping. And that figure last week with the CPI numbers didn't help in any way, shape or form. So we're kind of reliant at the moment on the CAD rallying. We have also got the retail sales and unemployment on Thursday for the US dollar. So there's potential movement there. But apart from that, there's no other US news this week, really, that we can use. No other CAD news either. So for those of you that were in the fundamentals stream yesterday, remember what I said about building permits? Yeah, that's coming out on Friday. So quite often you get a lot of big movement on that. People don't understand why, because it's an orange piece of news. But if you came to yesterday's stream, you know why. Right. So ADRs, you've got obviously US dollar CAD on the 4 hour, still embedded up here. So we've had an entire week of this being embedded. I looked through this yesterday, same thing. We haven't had this before. And like somebody said, this thing is moving obviously quite hard. Someone said in Discord, and it's one of those words I don't like to use, unprecedented. 11 days, 11 solid days in one direction. Incredibly rare to see price action that strong, and especially as they are reducing interest rates. So something not quite right from a fundamental perspective on this. So as we are dropping interest rates now, finally, the bias on this obviously should be short. So we're looking at a 71.8 retracement on this, 71.9 retracement on this now, on the leg. Depending on how you take the leg, I mean, it doesn't matter which of those you use, we're roughly about the 71.9 level. Yeah. So if this is going to continue market structure in the direction it's moving, this is kind of where we tend to see the deepest pullbacks. Yeah. So we're at the point now where this is getting, we need the next leg to kick in. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's, it's just parabolic at the minute. Just come out of nowhere, this move. It's very bizarre. But when it comes down, when you get parabolic moves this big, they tend to be parabolic in the opposite direction, because the banks and institutions will exit those moves much faster as well, because obviously the amount of money they have in profit sitting on the positions, as soon as it starts to dwindle away, the panic sets in and they all sell at the same time, and obviously that's when the collapse happens. So you've got an RSI extension there. We've got the pound CAD also extended. So nice big extension on the pound CAD on the 4 hour. Yeah, it's kind of, that one's embedded up there as well. So again, this weak Canadian dollar not helping at the moment. But again, nice propulsion gap there. Bullish market structure at the moment though. So, we are quite strong on the pound because Bailey's not dropping those interest rates. But we are now entering the origin of that reversal. So this propulsion area here potentially will be an add point for them. So again, Canadian dollar will be the one that obviously drives this one today. But again, this one just, creeping up. This Canadian dollar's not happy, is it, at the minute? So could do with oil inventories. Actually, it's Wednesday, so tomorrow, where's the oil inventories? Oh, we had a bank holiday, haven't we? So we've had a bank holiday in the US. So on inventories go back a day. So we haven't got oil inventories tomorrow. We've got oil inventories Thursday. So that might also help the CAD on Thursday. But obviously CPI today is the main number. Euro pound is also extended to the downside on the 4-hour. So you got a nice potential return to origin move going on at the moment on this one. Euro is weak. Pound is, until Bailey confirms, we are dropping the rates. We're neutral on that, but obviously it looks like we are going to get another rate drop coming in. So that will turn bear as well, which means that this thing is probably just going to flip-flop around a little bit. So doesn't really matter which way you trade this. At the moment, the euro trades will probably work out faster if you go short. But as you can see, I've taken longs on it and they're all working out fine as well. But it's not the greatest pair in the world to trade this one. So it's a 4-hour RSI extension to the downside. There's not a massive reason to be excited about going long on this, as you can see at the moment. I mean, it's just very bearish. So, however, doesn't mean it's not going to push up to there, put in a new lower high before it comes back down. So that one could go anywhere at the moment. But that's it. All the RSIs and ADRs done. You risk 1% on the indices? No. No, and I risk 0.25%. And tired of gambling, want to just follow the role model. Okay. I risk 0.25%. Well, I risk 0.5%. So the risk I have on is it's actually 0.2. It varies a little bit, 0.2, 0.25 per position, per trade. And obviously with the SIH strategy, there's 2 trades taken. So that's 0.4 risk. Yeah, so I'm 0.4 short, 0.4 long. Obviously, you're taking 2 trades. One comes off at a lower target and you keep the runner. So the actual risk is double whatever you put in that box. I think I'm going to take 0.25%. Yeah, 0.3 I take on the DAX. With the risk on these, you have to slightly vary the risk. And this is a bit of trial and error, a little bit, to try and get the hedges roughly at the same price. So the thing with the SIH strategy and the ORB strategy is obviously you place your risk based on the size of the pre-market range or the opening range that you're taking. So there's always going to be a deviation of anything up to 10% on the risk, yeah? Because because our minimum maximum range sizes are 10 to 20% of the ADR, we are always going to risk somewhere between 10 to 20%, yeah, on the size of this. But if, for example, the DAX was to have a 20% opening range and the FTSE has a 10% opening range, your risk, if you put the same parameter for risk in on both, is going to be different, isn't it? Because one of them you're risking 2.2%, for example, over 10% of ADR. The other one you might be risking 0.2% over 20% of ADR. Yeah. So you're never going to get it where the hedges are exactly the same. Unless the pre-market ranges or the opening ranges that you take are exactly the same in size, pretty much. But somewhere between 1/4 to 0.5%. 0.5% is quite risky because you're taking 1% total risk then, aren't you? More aggressive. But, and obviously, you know, at the moment we're in earnings fortnight as well. And earnings fortnight is very, very hit and miss. So earnings fortnight, when I was trading stocks, we used to like earnings fortnight was the focal point of the quarter. We were like, yes, earnings fortnight, we're going to make some serious money. But when we were trading stocks, it was because the gap and go plays and the gap fade plays were very fast and aggressive and really good opportunities to make money. Because in stock trading, you're mainly trying to find something that has moved to mean revert it or to continue the move. With the indices, it's a culmination of lots of different stocks. So you've got 30 to 500 stocks in an index. So one of them having a whacking great gap up fade or gap and go play doesn't really affect the volatility of the indices. And I'm finding since COVID, really, the indices over earnings fortnight have been more sluggish than volatile, which is what you would expect the opposite. Because we've got a load of earnings coming out, you'd expect stuff to move. It's just not happening that way at the moment. So it's a bit bizarre. The correlation between earnings fortnight and index movement seems to have dissipated. Things change over time. So, morning pot DJ, can COT data explain this US dollar CAD move? Not really, because it's only a week. COT data is only released weekly. I was explaining to Alexander in the members group this morning. What did I post? So yeah, basically, I'll read it out to you. I said COT is like an oscillator, basically. So if the market is extremely long or short on any one, actually, let's just look at this because that COT for some reason isn't loading properly. But you can see here, for example, the Canadian, they are massively short at the moment, and the US dollar, they are also short. Yeah. So to answer your question, no. Yes, there is weakness in the market from a futures perspective at the moment, but there is also weakness in the US to a lower degree, but not 11 days parabolic. Yeah. And the thing with this is, like I said, if you look at this like an oscillator, right, the Canadian commitment of traders is wrong way. The Canadian commitment of traders is 80%, 83% short. Yeah. So it's down here. And it's just like any other oscillator. They will not remain short forever. Yeah. Something will change and it will change the bias. And it could be something as stupid as hedging on oil regarding, they're an oil producer. So the hedge on the oil market may change, which may change the directional bias on the Canadian dollar. But it's extended, meaning it's probably going to do that at some point. So, and this is why I found COT very difficult to use, because it's released weekly. This is basically a weekly oscillator. So you're looking at a weekly chart. So let's say this has been extended and embedded for 4 weeks. You would expect to see Canadian dollar weakness for 4 weeks. We haven't had Canadian dollar weakness for 4 weeks. We've had Canadian dollar strength for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks there. We've had Canadian dollar neutrality for 4 to 5 weeks. We've had 2 weeks of weakness in the Canadian dollar. Yeah. But that COT report is like looking at, I haven't got it, but looking at RSI on the weekly time frame. Yeah. It's a massive top-down bird's eye view of the market. Yeah. Quarterly. Think of this as your quarterly outlook. In a quarter, price can do that. Yeah, close down here, open up here. It's correct. They shorted the CAD. But during the quarter, it will go wherever the hell it likes. Yeah, intraday and intra-week movement is not based on long-term fundamental outlook. Don't forget that banks and institutions are adding volume in batches. Yeah. So in between each of these batches, you get a pullback. And this is why we get market structure. If they are short on us on something, they can't put all the shorts in one go because there's just not the volume to take the opposite side of the order. So they put a percentage in, wait for the pullback, put another percentage in, wait for pullback, put another percentage in, wait for pullback. Also, you've got banks and institutions disagreeing on direction. Therefore, you might want to be going short on it. But if there's 20 million going long and there's only 10 million going short, it's going up. You don't have control over that either. We covered all this in the fundamental section, in the why the markets move section in the members streams. Yeah. So you've got to understand how the market moves. There's 1,000 moving parts in this thing. You can't just look at one thing and say, right, you've got to build a case basically. So I was just going through this chat, wasn't I? Got where I was. Morning, JC. I'm hoping for a huge CPI bounce and a 200 ADR drop today. Yep, that would be nice. My average at the moment is 150. So a 200 ADR drop would be lovely. So at the moment, you can see I've got TPs here in this propulsion. So I'm looking at this low from last week, or low from the news spike, basically. This propulsion gap here was the last big batch of longs. Obviously, there's one yesterday during Asia. You know, this yesterday's price action, you've got to look at this and go, yeah, because this had its biggest move during Asia, during a bank holiday. Yeah, so this price action here is algorithmic at best. It's not really directional. So that's the last proper day we had, and we had a news event which drove the market short, and it closed within that candle. So that really is your last proper price action. There was a bearish move, and it held. Yeah, and then we had a bank holiday. So today, obviously, if we do get bull on that CAD, I think there's a good chance we'll come down and retest this over the next 24 hours, 48 hours. So I'm taking some off, and I'll do drawdown control on a couple of these lower positions just to get the average a little bit easier to manage. But, you know, if you look at what we're expecting as a pullback on this thing, yeah, a 38 retracement from where we are at the moment is here. I mean, a shallow retracement in an up move is 38 pullback. Yeah, that's 200 ADR. Yeah, a flag break would be 23. So worst case scenario, if this just flags on news, I'll get out of a portion of it, reduce the size, and just get it under control. But, you know, there's nothing you can do with these parabolic moves. This is a squeeze, a proper squeeze. And you just can't do anything about squeezes like this. But as long as, you know, this is the thing with trading. As long as you're putting yourself in the most likely direction of price movement, that's all you can do. If something doesn't conform to what you think is going to happen, you can't do anything about it. Yeah, this is why people system hop constantly. People move from trading technicals to trading fundamentals to trading news to trading something else, to trading currency strength, to trading something else. They're always just looking for something that makes sense of this thing. There is no sense. Yeah, the US dollar is dropping interest rates. Interest rates mean prices go down. This is going up. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, when you get two currencies which are doing completely the opposite thing to what you would expect them to do, there's not a lot you can do about it. Yeah, all you can do is put the odds in your favor as best you possibly can, and when you're wrong, you take the losses. That's it. Simple as that. But yeah, so, you know, half of trading is luck with the news, like we covered yesterday. Fundamentals drive the market. The direction of fundamentals is an unknown until the fundamental is released. So this afternoon we will either have luck on our side or we won't. There's a binary chance of it happening. It will either strengthen or it will weaken on the news, or it will whipsaw and be neutral, in which case then we're waiting for the next reason for the market to start the next drive, which is on Thursday. We'll see. But yeah, squeezy at the minute, that one. So opening range on the DAX is hedged today. So there's your opening range. Short, long, stuck. Not going anywhere today on the DAX. So let's have a quick look at potential targets today. Wow. All-time highs. So we're at all-time highs on the DAX. So upside target ADR. Yeah. So there's literally no, you can't look left and find a target. So ADR on the DAX to the upside. See if we can get a rally up there. Downside target. There's plenty of them because we've been rallying on that as well. So I mean, we've broken out of last month's high, obviously, because we're at all-time highs. So last month's high, we only broke yesterday. So So either we're going to test and get stuck here on limit orders. Again, going back to how the market moves, we're going to find banking limit orders at that level. So that would be a logical place to try and get out. If this is a failed breakout, it could well come down quite fast and hard though. So it's a bit of a tricky one today because we're out in new territory. So what I will probably do is just wait and see what price does today. I'm going to leave it at 5R. Reasoning behind it is if I can get a decent 5R run on, I'm not going to get 5R out of that, am I? It's beyond ADR. So I'm going to put TP2 there. So basically, if I can get a run down to 4R, which is ADR low, that's going to be 340, 440, 500 pound. The DAX hedge is currently sitting at 316. So I'm going to leave that to run to 5R at the moment, but I will monitor it. If it starts screaming really fast and hard, we know that's a rejection of all-time highs, in which case I don't want to get out too soon. If it starts doing all the choppy nonsense up here and then grinds back down, I'll probably get out there and look for a bounce. But price action a lot of the time is about how it gets somewhere, not where it gets to, the route it takes. If something goes like bearish engulfing, bang, bang, straight through that 3-hour drop, it's strong. So you want to give it some room because you're standing in front of a steam train. If something chops around and takes like 6 hours to get somewhere, highly likely limit orders are going to trigger and push it away because it's got no volume and momentum to get through that level. So it's easier to move it. So I'm just going to see how that moves today. But at the moment, it's bull. So looks like it's going for all-time highs and continuing to rally. So all I can do is say, well, let's see what happens when you get to your average daily range. We'll try and get out up there. Right, that's all I've got for you today. Nothing much else to cover. If anybody's got any pairs they want to look at, let me know. We can have a look at individual pairs. But there's nothing much else I really wanted to cover today. So members stream today, we are going to use the price action toolkit and the Swiss Army knife EAs to basically look at ADR reversals and see if we can formulate a nice little strategy for prop using that. Although I've got one which I quite like, which AZ wanted. AZ's not in here, are you? But AZ wanted me to find a nice strategy for prop. And I've got one. Works pretty well. Actually, that's on the hourly time frame, so that's not the strategy. That's completely the wrong strategy. In 15. Yeah, we've got this one, which works very well on prop. Makes a load of money. Obviously, it has dips because it's a strategy and it loses, but we'll see if we can improve this. With prop, basically, the main thing about prop is obviously you've got to conform to rules. So it's a bit difficult to create a strategy that works for prop because different props have got different rules. Some of them like martingale, some of them don't like martingale. Some of them allow you to add additional positions as long as they're not bigger. Some of them don't. Some of them require a stop loss. Some of them don't. Some of them want you to hit a target within a time period. Some of them don't. Yeah, so it's a difficult thing to develop one strategy that encompasses everything because you know, it doesn't work that way in prop, does it? Unfortunately. But for me, we obviously covered strategies for prop in the members stream in week 1. For me, any strategy that you want to pass prop with is one that uses high risk and high reward. So the idea is I want to take as few trades as possible and I want to get them done, out, milked, pass the evaluation quick. So, you know, It's all about looking at the run-ups rather than, you don't need a strategy for prop that has a long-term edge. Long-term edge has got nothing to do with prop trading. Prop trading is about ticking a box by passing a test and then making profit and then stopping and removing that profit into your bank account and then having another go and then removing that and then blowing an account and starting the cycle again. It's not about being a consistent trader. It's about passing the rules that they set. So if they say you want to make 8K, go in with 4K on your first trade. If you can get a 2R on your trade, you've ticked their box. Now you have a funded account. Do what you like with that. This is a different thing, isn't it? So, this doesn't matter. What that is a pass. That's maybe a pass. That's a pass. That's a pass. That's stagnation. That's a fail. That's a fail. Wait for the next pass. Strategies are not going to work consistently. We know that. This is obviously not the right set file. I've been mucking about with this. I've probably been playing with settings and inputs. Yeah, I have. I changed the times and things on it. So yeah, ignore that test. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at ADR and see what we can find out with ADR. Morning, Harold. How are we doing? So that's all I've got for you today. Nobody else wants to look at any other pairs, which is good. Makes my day easier. So indices, just looking for hopefully a nice profit on the FTSE today. So if I can get 4R out the FTSE, guaranteed 200 profit today, which cancels out the hedge. And we'll see where we go on the US indices. I did tell a little white lie yesterday in Discord. I said I wasn't going to trade the US indices yesterday, and I had no intention of trading the US indices yesterday. But I had to leave the office, and I forgot to shut my terminal yesterday, and the EA triggered. So I actually traded the indices yesterday, and I traded the Nasdaq. So I came out of that with about 100 and something profit. But yeah, I had a TP and a break even on it. So I actually did make money on the Nas yesterday, but not through wanting to, by accident, which is fine. But I was not expecting this movement yesterday. So this is the open on the Nasdaq yesterday. It was a bank holiday in the US. I know it wasn't actually a bank holiday. They need to change the terminology of this, don't they? Yeah. The banks were not shut. They were open. Yeah. Algorithms were trading. Trading was happening. The exchanges were open. A traditional bank holiday is the bank shut. Yeah. That wasn't the bank shut. That was people having the day off work. So we should have a day off work holiday and a bank holiday, shouldn't we? Because in financial terms, it's important to differentiate whether or not the banks are open or closed, because they move the market. So if they're shut, it ain't going to move. Yesterday, it did. So yeah, I was lucky, to be honest. I could have got double hedged yesterday, but I didn't. So I was quite happy with that outcome, but it was accidental. But I did say I wasn't going to trade it, and I wouldn't on those days. So Neil, for members area for live trades, do you need Discord? Or can you follow on YouTube / Telegram? For live trades, well, I show you all the live trades and everything in here. There's no live trades. You're not getting a signal service. If you want a signal service, go and buy a signal service. They're all a load of crap and you'll lose all your money. But I don't do signals. I teach. So in the members streams, it's all covered on the website. What's in the members streams? Yeah. So this is what we cover. Strategy development. We look at strategy robustness testing. We find strategies. We test them. We either use them or we throw them away. Education. You get discounts on EAs and stuff. But I haven't found one yet. It hasn't been going for a few weeks. So when we get some EAs, you can get early access to EAs and also testing. So I have an EA, which when we've got some strategies that are looking good, I will give the EA out so you can strategy test it, basically. Yeah, and all that. To be honest, all this stuff is the, you know, with YouTube, you have to have members levels, and you have to offer extra stuff. So to be honest, this is the value here. Strategy development and the education side of things. This is all bunts. If you pay attention to this, you don't need any of this. But it's the way it's set up. But no, I don't. There's no signals, live trades, or anything like that. I do all that in here. And you take your own trades, yeah. It's the old teach a man to fish, and he'll feed himself for life. Give the man a fish, and he'll feed himself for one meal, type thing, isn't it? Yeah. I can give you signals if you want, but when I decide actually I'm going to retire and I don't want to do this anymore, you've lost your income stream. Yeah. Then all of a sudden now you've got to go and find something else to do, find another way to make money. Learn to trade, and you don't need to follow anybody, do you? Half the people that trade the strategies that I use, position trading strategies, are getting into trades in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. Yeah. Some of them are using my ADR reversal strategy and RSI mean reversion strategies. Some of them are using basic support resistance trading. Some of them are trading 1 minute charts. Some people are trading daily charts. Yeah. But I teach them methodologies and the ways to make money out of the market, how the market moves, how to extract money, why it moves and why you extract money. How you get in if you want to flip a coin. We got 20 minutes. I just wanted to show you this. So just to explain really the probabilities of trading, yeah. Because this is one of the member streams I was going to cover, and I probably will do it in more detail, but I've got this entry on the Swiss Army knife called just trade in the direction of trend if flat. Set that to true, yeah. And the TP and stop loss, setting that to 1. Actually, let's go with, so this is based on ADR, isn't it, at the moment? Let's go with half. Yeah. So basically, just to demonstrate the probabilities of trading, yeah, what this EA is going to do now is if the moving average slope is up, it's going to go long. If the moving average slope is down, it's going to go short if it's flat. So basically, every time it's flat, it takes a trade. And then when it closes a trade, it takes another one. Yeah. And it uses a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Nothing else. Yeah. That's literally all it's doing. I'm just going to run this as a test just to demonstrate how trading works, basically. This is on the 15-minute chart. This might be a bit ropier than anticipated, but oh, God. That's not the outcome I wanted at all. But yeah, there you go. So profitable trades, 49.54%. Losing trades, 50.46%. If you flip a coin, yeah, and go long on heads and short on tails with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, you're going to win 50% of your trades. Yeah. It doesn't matter how you get in at all to a position. The probabilities of trading a random distribution of trades that you enter into the market is 50-50. Yeah. So if you say, I'm going to get in, if it moves up by half an ADR, I'll get out. If it moves down by half an ADR, I'll get out. You will win 50% of your trades. It's always, always, always going to give you in the region of 50%. It can't do anything else because by pure luck and probabilities, it will even itself out over time. Yeah. So what I teach people is forget this. Doesn't matter. I have strategies that get me in, which increase these probabilities. But I have no idea whether they will work or not each time. And it doesn't matter how you get into a trade. It matters how you manage that position and how you exit. Again, in the member streams, we've covered the exit strategies you can have. There's only a few of them. There's a handful of ways you can get out of this market. When you choose to get out is what makes you money or not how you get in. Everybody focuses on, I've got to find a good strategy. Flip a coin, right? Focus on finding an exit strategy that works on a coin flip. You will make money. Simple as that. Position trading, the way that I trade, is nothing to do with the entry. When I got into this US dollar CAD trade, that made 46 grand. How did that make 46 grand on a 1R? I've got a setting in here, which is wrong somewhere. Because it can't make a profit on a 1R with a 50% strike rate. Yes, it can, because ADR is changing, isn't it? So what's happening here is the trades that are winning happen to be higher ADR trades. So it's getting in on trend when expansion is happening. That's why it's making profit, which is why it will also make some massive losses, because it will get slipped. But anyway. But yeah, so that's basically what you need to learn, yeah? Every signal service that you follow, and this is why I kind of am talking about this. If you want to follow my signals, I'll give you signals. I'll set up a Telegram or a Discord channel, and I'll pump out coin flips every day. Yeah. But you will make money on my coin flips if you use the correct risk reward ratio on your trading, and or you have an edge that makes those 50% become 51s. That's literally all you need to do. Yeah. So, signals are pointless, because what you will find is the people that supply the signals are using a specific strategy that fits a market condition. Yeah. That market condition will change. The people supplying the signals will not change. Yeah. So when you have ADR going mental, yeah. So when ADR down here is up here and the market's trending like a crazy beast, they will be using exactly the same signals that they've been profiting from in a mean reverting low ADR market regime. They will not work. So the signal service will fail. You will leave the signal service after having blown your account. They will go, holy crap, that was different. And then they will start repeating the process until it all goes wrong again. Yeah, that's what signal services are. They are not interested in long-term profitable gain. They are interested in, I'm going to give out 10 signals this week or today. If 7 out of 10 are right, the people that join my signal service today will go, holy crap, that's amazing. I'm signing up. What happens after that sign up is irrelevant. Their job is to get 10,000 people onto their website a month and get a proportion of those converted on the days where they make profit. Then it all goes wrong and they replace those people with new people. It's exactly the same way as brokers work. 70% of customers in brokerages leave every month because they are no good at trading. They lose their accounts, they blow it, they can't trade anymore because they haven't got any money. So 70% of their customer base disappears. So they advertise like crazy to replace that 70% each month. There's a statistic out there. There's various statistics out there, but it's the same principle. 60% of people lose 60% of their account within 60 days. Yeah. So within 2 months, you'll be down by half your account, half of you. Repeat that for another 2 months, you'll have blown. So the maximum life cycle of a typical trader in a brokerage is 4 to 6 months before they're gone. You've got to replace all those people. Signal services work in exactly the same way. They're not interested in keeping you. They're interested in you paying them some money. Yeah, it's the way the world works, isn't it? Give me some of your cash. I'll supply you with something. And if you don't like it, don't come back. If I'm lucky enough in my signal service to be a trend signal and I happen to hit the market on a 4-week trend, you're going to stay with me for 4 weeks. Ka-ching! But then you're going to leave me when the market goes back into a range bound. Yeah, that's how it works. There's no point in doing that. I'm not going to supply you with that because I'm happy to do it. I'll take your money from you, but not going to help you become a profitable trader, is it? Won't help you make a living from it. It won't help you be consistent. It will help you understand what doesn't work, but I can tell you what doesn't work. Whether you believe me or not is up to you. And this is what people do, isn't it? I've done the same thing. I've been in the same cycle. People have told me stuff. I've gone, yeah. I've gone off and I've gone, you're right. Next. Nah, don't trust that. I'm going to do this. Yeah, you're right. That doesn't work either. One of the sessions we're going to do, and one of the reasons I rebuilt my EA yesterday was to use martingale. We're going to do some martingale sessions because we're doing hedging on tomorrow. We're doing hedging. So we need martingale because martingale systems are very good for hedging until they're not. And I will prove to you that I can make an absolute killing and I can double an account over and over and over again with hedging. And I will keep doing it until I don't, and then I won't have any money left. Yeah. You only learn stuff by doing it. When you've done it so many times that it doesn't work, you know it doesn't work, but you've got to prove it to yourself. Signal services are good for that, if they tell you what the signals are for. But the ones that come up in my Discord and my Telegram, where they go, gold, sell, TP1, X, TP2, Y, stop loss, Z. Those are no use. What they should be saying is sell gold because we have news coming out soon, which is fundamentally probably going to rally the US dollar, which will make the gold price drop. We also have a semiconductor expansion happening at the moment, meaning the supply is rising or the demand is rising, etc., etc. Why did you take that trade? Why is that signal there? That would be a useful signal service. But that's what I do every day, isn't it? I come in here and I go, hey, look, this is extended massively. Haven't seen this before. That's probably what is going to happen. So if you want to go short because I've said that, that's up to you. It's a signal. Whether it works or not, I have no clue. I'm short on it at the moment and I'm underwater on it at the moment. I'm either going to take a loss on it if it continues to push, or I'm going to make a load of money when it drops. It's a signal. But it's not cut and dry like that. You can't do that, unfortunately. You can try. There's plenty of them out there. But anyway, that was a long-winded Nils way of saying that's not what you get in the members section. FTSE, T1 hit. So we're testing propulsion from yesterday. So on the hourly, this is the propulsion gap from yesterday's this is the New York session yesterday. So yeah, we'll either hold and I'll come back and take a break even on the second part, or we'll move down to 4R and the plan for the day to make 200 is executed. DAX is struggling up at the all-time highs. Not really getting any movement here. We've got indecision after indecision. Price action. Nice bearish price action, though, on the FTSE. So, pound CAD, Harold. So this is the pound rallying. Yeah. And again, we talked about fundamentals yesterday. Yeah. We did a session on fundamentals and why fundamentals are important. What have we just had? Negative news on the claimant counts. Yeah. Bearish news for the pound. What's the pound doing? Rallying. Yeah. You do not pay attention to this being red or green. It gives you what should be happening in the market. But going back to weight of orders, if there's more bulls there today than there's bears, that's what's going to happen. So yeah, nice move on the pound CAD starting. So it's continuing to rally. US dollar CAD is not. So this tells you that the pound is the thing that's moving. This is what we're covering on Thursday, tomorrow. No, it's Tuesday today, isn't it? Thursday, we're covering correlation. God, I can't remember what we're covering from day to day. We're covering currency correlation and exposure on Thursday. So one of the ways you can tell why something is moving is by looking at the other crosses. Yeah. So if all the pounds are going up at once, it's a pound move. Nothing to do with the Canadian dollar. Signals are worthless. Leah is telling us when he enters a trade on why. That's how you learn. Yeah, exactly. That's it's mentorship. This is the big difference, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. The big difference between learning and becoming knowledgeable. Yeah, becoming knowledgeable is easy. Anybody on this planet can become knowledgeable now. We've got YouTube, the biggest repository of information on the planet. Yeah, you Google it or you YouTube it and you want to learn to do something, do it. I've got a problem with the squirters on my car at the moment. They're not working. I Googled it or either YouTubed it, and the guy said, this is what's wrong with your squirters. And I went, yeah, you're right. And he fixed it. I got the knowledge to fix my own car. Learning how to become a mechanic needs somebody to be next to you saying, this is the way that you do it. But if you replace this engine, you need to remove all of these bolts. I can't undo this bolt. Right. This guy's going to tell you why you can't undo that bolt and now what you need to do. Right. That's rusted in place, mate. You're going to need to drill it out. Yeah. We're going to need to re-weld that seal and drill it back in again so that we can put the screw back in. Yeah. That's learning. Knowledge, how to replace an engine. Learning, somebody telling you why something's happening that you weren't expecting. That's what mentorship is having somebody saying, right, yeah, this is why this is happening, or don't know why this is happening, but the reason we don't mind why we don't know this is happening is because X, Y, Z. Massive difference. Maybe it would be helpful to post all trades in Discord. It doesn't matter why I have posted some of the trades in Discord, but it doesn't matter. All my trades are taken with my EAs. So if I'm taking a trade, you're probably taking it too. That's so weird. My windscreen waters have stopped working. How weird. I know. It must be an epidemic going on. Mine's a BMW. But basically, there's a pipe and there's a filter. Tiny little filter. Filter gets blocked and the pipe gets blocked. Clean the filter. Fix the pipe. Really simple. It's logical. But I didn't even know there was a filter in between the water pump and the pipe. Knowledge would have told me that. Yeah, it's just, mine's a Lambo. I got one of them. That hasn't got any squirters though. But the door's open. Right, I'll leave it there. Pound odd going for last week's high. Just happened to be on this, looking at last week's high. Watch out for rejection here, but pound's really off on a rally today because obviously it's had bad news, which makes it go up. We don't have any control over it. So yeah, might get some opportunities for ADRs today. So watch your dashes for ADRs today if you're using ADR dash for ADR reversal trades. We've got a nice monthly high coming up on the pound CAD as well. So if the Canadian dollar has weak numbers today, everything's going to rally against it, which I hope doesn't happen. But if it has strong numbers, you know, we've had a weak run on it, so it's probably going to come down very quick. So if you do get ADR hits to the downside on any CAD pairs this afternoon specifically, just bear in mind why that's happened. And again, what we covered yesterday, fundamentals and news, why it's so important. If you've got a strategy that is trying to mean revert a fundamental shift in direction, that strategy ain't going to work. Yeah. If you hit ADR and there hasn't been any news, there's a high probability of a reversal. If you hit ADR very quickly because there's been a fundamental shift in the inflation figures, that trade is probably not going to work. Yeah. So again, context. Right, leave it there. I will see you in the member streams in 5 minutes, those that were coming in. We'll look at the ADR side of things. And if you're not, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a good day.